Our next author is H.E. Fisher. She's the author of the hybrid collection Sterile Field and Jane Almost Always Smiles, a poetry chapbook. Her work has appeared in Whale Road Review, Tipel, I was saying earlier, I can't pronounce anything, Quarterly, and in Indianapolis Review and The Hopper, among others. She was awarded the 2019 Stark Poetry Prize in the memory of Raymond Patterson at City College in New York. Was a finalist in the Comstock Review Chapbook Contest and has been nominated for the Best of the Net. She is editor of Re and Ideas Journal. Please welcome H.E. Fisher.
Thank you so much, Larry. It's so great to be here. Thank you, everyone who's come here tonight to listen. And it's wonderful to be in the company of these writers. Please note that some of what I'm reading from Jane Almost Always Smiles is about a young girl trying to survive child sexual abuse. So please do what you need to for yourself during this part of the reading. For context, Jane Almost Always Smiles references one of the Dick and Jane early readers, a series that was first published in 1930. But by 1950, about 80% of first grade students in the US, myself included, were introduced to reading with these books, which featured three siblings from a white middle-class suburban family. The books were eventually called out for perpetuating racial, gender, and class biases. To some, these books are considered to be collector items. This is a selection from Jane. See me in first grade. My teacher, Mrs. W., makes the class read Sally, Dick, and Jane. We read to learn to read. Mrs. W. has the class stand and face the American flag every day. We must put our hands on our hearts and say, I pledge, like a pinky swear, like a swear on our mother's lives, like a cross my heart and hope to die swear. See Sally in the book at bedtime. Sally's mom turns out the light. At night, my mom is at work or sick in hospital. Dad, not mom, turns out the light. Dad sits in the dark and waits for me to fall asleep. He says he sits and stays so that I will not be afraid of the dark. It is easy to see things in day. Day is busy. Night has things too, but they are harder to see, except for stars and dim planets. Night is still, but when Dad sits in the dark, he moves it. When Sally, Dick, or Jane are in peril, they say, help, go, run. There is a bedtime secret. The secret is like a swear that I should trust Dad, that I should love Dad, that I should not say, help, go, run. See Dick and Jane watch TV. See little sister Sally move a chair in front of the TV and sit down on it. Now Dick and Jane cannot see the show. See Dick get mad. Dick's face is mad like it has an exclamation point at the end of it. Come here, Sally. Sally stays put. See Dick grab Sally's chair and tip it. See him drag Sally away from the TV. Now Sally is afraid. Help, help. Oh, Jane, help me. Jane does not help Sally. Instead, she covers her mouth with her hand and smiles. A smile under a hand is less than a smile. It is in between. This story ends here. A new happy story begins on the next page. In Sally, Dick, and Jane, there is no beginning, middle, end. The book is in between. Sally's cat Puff jumps up on Sally's bed at bedtime. This makes Sally mad. Sally's face is mad like it has an exclamation point at the end of it. Get down, Puff. See her swat Puff with her hand. It makes me feel funny to see a person in a book get so mad. It makes me feel funny that the only time Sally gets mad is at bedtime. See Mom watch the news on TV and get mad. Mom is an activist. She says, I am fixing the world so you will be safe. I do not know or think that our home is in the world Mom is fixing. I think she thinks home is safe. I do not know if Mom knows to be mad in our home, that when Dad tucks me in, he waits for me to fall asleep, that he sits in the dark and moves it. I do not know if Mom knows to be mad, or if she is like Jane and covers and does not talk, covers and does not hear, covers and does not see. Mom keeps me safe and does not keep me safe. Mom is in between. See me bored. Sally, Dick, and Jane is too easy to read. See me skip ahead to the last page. Each pupil takes a turn reading a page from the book. When Mrs. W calls on me to read, I am lost. Mrs. W hollers at me for being lost. No one has ever hollered at me. My parents holler at each other sometimes. I tell Dad I am learning to unread at school. Dad tells me a story. He says Grandpa Ben came to America from Russia on a big boat, that our Russian name was swept overboard, that our name is at the bottom of the sea. Dad says many people have lost their names and their words when they crossed the sea. I learned that some people had tickets and took boats. I learned that some people were taken and put on boats. I can speak and read. I am human because I have words. Oh, it is sad to learn what humans say and do. Oh, Grandpa, tell me a story in Russian about the sea. I want to hear the taken words. The book Sally, Dick, and Jane has no beginning, middle, end. It is in between, in bits and pieces. Bits and Pieces is the story of my family too. When I ask my mom or dad for a story about my family, about the ones I never met, they say, I only know bits and pieces. Dad knows bits and pieces of Russian. Mom knows bits and pieces of Yiddish. This is what is left of the ABCs of our family. Our names are bits and pieces too. Our last names were changed when our families came to America. The Americans who let our family live here changed our names to make them American. In my family, we are each named after one person, the first letter of a first name, as if we come from only part of the person we are named after, which I guess is true. I do not know why the first letter is so important. I think it is like the A's of the ABCs. I am named for my grandpa, Mom's dad. The first letter of my name is the first letter of his. Grandpa died before I was born. The first letter of his name is the only part of him I know. Mom says, I have his mouth. I think of my family taking bits and pieces of their lives on boats from Russia, of the boats themselves taking bits and pieces of lives across an ocean over a bed of sand, which is bits and pieces of earth where the dinosaurs once roamed. I have a book about dinosaurs. I think I know more about dinosaurs than I know about my family. Ask me a question. Dad has a cousin. Her name is Ida. Ida lives in New York City. We drive there to visit. Ida has numbers on her arm. When I see the numbers, my mouth opens like there is a question mark at the end of it. Ida sees me seeing. Camps, she says, but here I am, Kindela. Nah, some not so lucky. They ended in bitten unbrecklich. In first grade, Mrs. W says, class, hang your coats in the cubbies. Fold your hands on your desks, stand and pledge, open the book, read. The class says, yes, Mrs. W. I think Mrs. W's first grade class has a secret like a swear that the pupils will not say no. I think, what if Mrs. W said, hang, fold, stand, pledge, open, read, and the pupils said no? I think, What if the Americans who changed my family's name said, I am changing your names, and my family said, no? Would they be put on a boat and taken back to Russia? I think there is always a boat to carry, that there are things you are not allowed to say no to. A, America. B, school. C, teacher. D, night. E, ocean. F, mom's sick heart. G, dad. In the first grade, I learned no is a word to say on the inside, the hardest word to learn. I think to say no is an ocean. Thank you.